Welcome back to Ironclad RC. I'm going to be working on the Veles today. There's quite a few little things that we need to work out. We need to work on the rudder, pin, make sure all the screws are in the boat, Loctite into place, the prop shaft, strut, servo, cooling, waterproofing. Going to go over the whole nine with you guys today. Everything in the video today is not going to be just based on the Veles. This stuff carries over to other ready-to-run boats, not just Proboat. It's just things that you need to look for, things you need to do before you run. So stick around. Big B with Ironclad RC. Let's get to it. Into the wind. So I'm gonna start tightening up all these screws. Just make sure that they're good to go. Nice and tight. I've already taken the boat out for its maiden. You guys seen that in the previous video. I really, all I did was just throw batteries in it and took the boat out without issue. The boat was ready to go. I didn't have any issues. Just ran the boat on 4S when I took it out for its maiden for the unboxing video, just so I have some running footage. But she ran good. She ran really good. I was really surprised at how well the boat run. Damn, everything's tight, nice and tight. I was really surprised. I really need to take off this bracket, the whole strut rudder bracket here, and put some adhesive behind and between the bracket and the hull to waterproof the boat. But for now, I don't think I'm going to. I know it needs to be done. I don't think I'm going to do it today. I just don't have the time with work and everything. So we're going to do that later on. Hopefully you guys can see that little screw right there. All right. On my maiden, that screw actually backed off. All right. So I recommend just taking that screw out. Move your rudder, full rudder, so you can get to the screw. It keeps this pin, the pin that the rudder hinges on. Got a little flat spot on the pin. Make sure that set screw is on that flat spot. On this rudder right here, if I tighten it down too much, it wants to put a lot of pressure on the rudder itself. See that? You can hear the strain from the servo. So I'm gonna back it off like an eighth of a turn. Much better. All right, good deal. This boat right here might need an upgraded servo. The propeller should be balanced. It should look like this. Okay, when you got a propeller balancer, you're balancing your propeller, it should stop anywhere, everywhere. Anywhere it lands, it should stop without moving. You know what I'm saying? Alright, so let's throw this guy here on it and see if it's balanced. I don't think it is, because it was like, yeah, here, actually, let me show you. I actually ran the boat with this propeller the other day, and I should have checked the prop before I went out. I was already at the pond. I didn't have no props with me, so you see the shaft wobbling? You can see the shaft vibrating. All right, it actually kind of bent my shaft. Here, let me turn it on again. I'll show you. All right, so you see the shaft there? It's kind of, you see that? I should have checked the prop before I took it out. Alright, so I've got the stock propeller here. Put it on my balancer. Let's check the balance. A lot of times if your shaft gets bent out of shape from a propeller that's not balanced, a lot of times if you put a balanced propeller on the boat, A lot of times it'll work itself out. Sometimes it don't. Sometimes it don't. You may need to pull the shaft. Oh yeah, see that? See how, watch how it falls quick. Watch how quick it falls. It's almost balanced. It's almost there. Okay. See if we can't work that shaft back into shape. I've had pretty good success with that in the past, just kind of, you know, taking the shaft, rolling it on the table on a flat surface, kind of bend it back into shape. A lot of times if you have a grub screw that's too big for your drive dog, you know, like a heavy, like your prop could be balanced. Your prop could be balanced, and you have like a huge, like long, heavy drive dog that's throwing the shaft out of balance. That'll actually bend your shaft as well. But it actually looks like it had a lot of grease on the cable. I mean, from the factory. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Let's wipe all this grease off of here. Okay, so it actually just looks like the cable's bent. See right here? See how, let me get you in here. See how that cable's coming out of the shaft right there? See how it's going all the way down, then you can see the gap up under it here. Okay, so if that's the case, that'll throw your shaft out of whack. Alright, so the shaft actually looks pretty good. So it could just be the cable that's cocked off to the side. So what I do is I'll find the side that's, you know, out of whack, and you can actually kind of bend it back into shape, believe it or not. Sometimes it'll help. That's the bad thing about flex cables. They have memory. They'll remember, you know, if there's a bad bend in it or something somewhere, or at one point, or even hell, it could have been put in the shaft and pinched off, you know, at an angle, you know, and it'll throw the whole thing out of whack. And you got to do this for all your boats, you know. It's not just this boat, so, you know, don't get the wrong idea about the boat. Any ready to run. This could happen to any ready to run boat you get. It's not just this one. I actually had to do this to my UL-19, and it does. It looks where they clipped off the cable. All right, so watch right here where those crimp marks are. All right, so it's touching the table and it's coming up. You see that? You see that right there? Okay, so it's actually throwing the whole cable out of whack. All right, so we need to find out where it's coming off the table. Okay, so right here. All right, so what I'm gonna do is hell, I don't know what to do. Let me get a little pipe. So I'm gonna find it where it's bent at, and I'm gonna bend it the opposite direction with this guy right here. Hopefully. That looks better. That looks a lot better. Alright, so let's throw that in there. Okay. All I do is I put grease in this guy right here, and that's it, man. I don't take it all apart. I don't take bushings off. I don't take my strut off. I just do it like that right there. I don't even care if it gets on the end of my cable, man, because those collets are made to crimp. I mean, people are all, you know, scared to get grease on the end of their cable or grease in their collet. You know, if a little bit of grease makes that collet slip, then you need to get another damn collet, you know? I don't have time to mess around and make sure there's no grease on the end of my shaft, you know? Hell, I got other shit to do. And it's been working for me so far. So far, I've been doing this for years. No problem, no issue. If anything, when you grease it, you know, and your cable comes out the end of your stuffing tube there, if you don't want grease in your collet, just wipe it off. You know, there's no way you're going to slide this shaft through your stuffing tube without getting grease on the cable. Okay, so that should be good. That should be good. I just took my extra grease and kind of wiped it on there. Boom, freaking done. All right, don't spend freaking 3 hours greasing your cable up. If you do, it'll make you not want to take your boats out every day. You know what I'm saying? All right, so I got it in the collet. Let me get this collet tightened down here. Let's see what it sounds like. So let's check it out, you guys. We got that where they crimped the cable into the shaft. We got that kind of straightened out. Let's see what it looks like here. Yeah, that did it. That did it. So hopefully that helps you guys out. You know, if it's got like a little bit of a wobble, you know, from an out of balance propeller, like I said, you can put a balanced propeller on it, and it should work itself out. You know, just check the cable and make sure it don't have a kink in the end where they crimped it on, or they glued the cable or soldered the cable into the shaft. You know, and it should be good. You know, just if it is a little kink back here, ever so slightly, try to bend it into shape. Try not to bend the shaft, you know what I'm saying, while you're doing it. So you got to take great care when you're you know, trying to straighten out a shaft like that. You really need to think about it. Make sure you're bending it the right way. You know, spend a few minutes on it. Don't just take it out and do it. You know, spend a few minutes, you know, try to figure out which way it's bent, out of shape and everything. So get this grease off my shaft so it locks down onto it. Make sure it's on the flat spot. So before I put my set screw back in, I'm actually going to take a little bit of that set screw off the end here. I got my Dremel here. I want my set screw to be flush with the outside of the drive dog. Alright, so I shortened it up. Alright, so we're going to put some red Loctite on it. Okay, and get it tightened down on that flat spot. Alright, so you can see the set screws not sticking out real far on my drive dog there. It's almost flush. Alright, so we don't have so much rotational mass. Make sure you got like a 2mm gap right here on this drive dog to strut right here. Okay, because it's got a lot of power in this boat and that cable will constrict, so you need a little bit of room to play. Alright, I'll put the balanced propeller on here. I'm going to run this balanced propeller till I can get the stock propeller balanced up. Alright, so I need to actually wipe off some of this Loctite I got on my threads, the red Loctite, so we don't lock the propeller on. Put our lock nut back on there and tighten down the nut. Now let's see what it sounds like with the balanced propeller. Maybe I'll do a before and after type deal, back and forth for you. Alright. See the difference? You can hear the difference. You see the shaft wobbling? Got a little bit of cable whip. And what I'm going to do with this, with my Veles and my U19, eventually I want to put a .187 cable in with no liner. I don't like running a liner. So let's check it out again. Much better, much better. Alright, so that's done. I've had a lot of comments or questions about waterproofing. Should I use a balloon? Tupperware for my receiver. Most receivers nowadays come basically waterproof, especially if it comes in a boat. But what I do is I take this Corrosion X, which I've had this bottle for about 1.5 years. Okay, same bottle. It's like maybe up to here. Okay, halfway done. I just take a little Zets in my receiver. I don't get it on your wires because it'll make the wire sheath a little brittle. So I just do a little Zets. That was too damn much, but that will waterproof your receiver for almost, I mean, On some of my boats, like I've sunk this boat right here, my sport fisher, a few times. Okay, I've sunk this boat right here once or twice. My rigger I've sunk for like hours. This stuff works, man. It works. So pick you up a little can of Corrosion X. It's great for waterproofing electronics. All right. On my ESC right here, on the speed control, you guys see that little kink in my cooling line. All right. You could either keep the same cooling line and put a spring on it like this right here. That'll prevent it from kinking off. Okay, a little spring that fits over the cooling line perfect. I think I'm just going to use this red line right here. Boom. Okay, no more kinks. So I got my foam in my battery trays. That's very important. Make sure you got your foam in there so your batteries don't slide back and forth. So I was looking at the motor, and actually I think I need to slide my motor forward. All right, you guys can see that it's like bottoming out on the top, and we got a little gap on the bottom. So to fix that, you just basically can just loosen up these two screws for your motor mount, and you can slide your motor back or forward to center the cable in the stuffing tube. To be honest with you, like if you can get it to, you know, where your motor's back and you don't have a big gap right here, would be ideal. So you could actually loosen these up, okay, and move this back to lift the stuffing tube, or forward to push the stuffing tube down. I'm going to leave my stuffing tube mount where it's at and just move my motor forward. Okay, I really don't like that big of a gap in between my collet and my cable. You know, if you have too big a gap right here, it will actually like twist. Okay, if your cable bottoms out back here. Okay, that's why you basically leave a gap back here for the cable to constrict, so you don't twist your cable at the collet. You got me? So I'm basically just moved my motor mount back a little bit. I'm gonna tighten it down right here. I got blue Loctite on those screws. I did it before I showed you guys, so that should be good to go. Make sure you put the right size screw. If you have to replace these screws, make sure you put the right size screw, because if you put a long screw in and you screw it into the electronics tray, you could actually like crack the bottom of the hole. Okay, so make sure you got the right size screws if you have to replace them. If you have to move your motor forward, make sure your cable's got proper gap. All right, that's about how much gap I like to run. Some people like to run a bigger gap to play it safe. I like to ride the edge of insanity, you know. Yeah, like I said, you guys, it's just a few things you could look out for with your boats. Not just Proboat, like I said. I mean, TFL, you know, any ready to run, you know, even, I mean, especially the cheaper ready to run boats, you know. Just look out for these little things, you know, your propellers out of balance, shafts being bent, you know, loose screws, Loctite all your screws, make sure they're tight, you know. Just go through the boat with a fine-tooth comb, look for things that could possibly cause you some trouble down the road, you know. Ironclad the boat out. Build it freaking ironclad, you know. Build it the way you want to build it. I mean, don't just do something on your boat because somebody else has did it or mentioned it, you know, maybe this will do blah blah blah. Build your boat, build it the way you want it to look, build it the way you want it to run and perform, you know. I appreciate you guys watching. I know it was a long, kind of a boring video, but I kind of had a lot of stuff I wanted to cover. Had a lot of questions from quite a few subscribers, and I was trying to touch base on a lot of the questions I've been asked in the comments section. So hopefully a lot of this information helps you guys out. Thanks for watching. Big B with Ironclad RC, channel where we tinker, test, and build RC boats. We'll see you guys next time.